think it's about that time. So, it's Woke Wednesday. I do this. I think that's Thaddeus up there. I have to try to guess based on the little like pinhole pictures. So it's a little like, whoa. So how's everybody's Wednesday? How's everybody's first half of the week going? Thaddeus, are you guys back at school? And if so, how's that going? All right, I explained my dog is over here next to me, so if you hear snoring, it is coming from her, not me. That would be weird if I was talking to you guys and snoring. So thanks for jumping on to Woke Wednesday. Oh, good. I'm glad that's going well. That is, they announced with our school district today that they're moving up by 1 week when they get to, when the kids will actually go back to starting to do hybrid. So that's exciting. My daughter's super excited. So, all right, I want everybody to close their eyes, just like we always do at the beginning. And today I want you to envision being at your dream weight. Imagine what that looks like. We're not talking about weight loss today, don't worry. I won't French you guys out. I could do some promo for my friend Eric that I went to high school with. He's out in Washington, D.C. killing people on it. All right, so question. When I ask you to envision your dream weight, you can open your eyes. Go ahead and type in, actually, in the comments. When I ask you, don't type in what your dream weight is. But when I ask you to picture you at your dream weight, did you envision you standing on the scale with a certain number on the scale? Or did you envision what would it take to get to your dream weight? Maybe you were thinking like you envisioned like the exercise and eating clean that came with it. Or maybe did you envision more of something like being at the doctor and your doctor tells you can stop all sorts of medications, or being on the ground playing with your dog or your grandkids or your kids or something like that. Which one did you envision when I said imagine being at your dream weight? There's a purpose to this, by the way. I'll wait for those to stroll in. I'll go ahead and get going on the topic. So today we're talking about what drives you. So you've probably heard some of these phrases. Oh, there she goes. Bye, Lily. Well, she's halfway behind me now. All right. So we've heard of some of these phases. So one being results driven. So if you envisioned yourself standing on the scale with a certain number on it, that might be an indication that you're results driven. And here's the thing with being results driven. It will oftentimes lead you to success, and sometimes somewhat quickly, but usually that is more of a short-term success, not something that can be sustained. So I look at it like a foundation. You're missing the foundational pieces. So imagine when they were building the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. It's in Dubai. It's over 9 football fields long, right? So you just sit there and go, man, I don't even want to run one football field. I know some of y'all used to play football, so you might like this. But 9 football fields high into the sky, I don't think so. But here's the thing. Imagine if when they envisioned it, they didn't look at all of the structure. They just said, okay, we know we want this sucker to be 900 and something yards in the sky, and they just built it with no attention to what's it going to take to get there. Well, the problem with that is often, like I said, the foundation, some of that structure could be missing, which, yes, will lead to shorter term success. When we look at the process, so if you have envisioned yourself in the process of weight loss, so, okay, I'm going to have to exercise a lot. So you were envisioning yourself maybe lifting weights, or you were envisioning yourself, what was I thinking? Eating clean, like meal prepping, all of that stuff. Then that's likely that, hi, Melissa, that's likely that you are process driven. And with process driven, this can also lead to success that's a little bit more sustainable because you are focused on building that strong foundation. However, with process driven, what happens is it takes longer to get there. People might not see those results, and so they give up before they even reach that success. So the average attention span of an American adult nowadays is 8 seconds. They said it's 1 second shorter than that of a goldfish. And I sit there and go, who was paid to study how long they could keep a goldfish's attention? That's where my brain goes. But here's the thing. We know that we live in a very short term, I want immediate results, right? Immediate gratification. We know that that's the type of society that we live in. So when we're not getting those fast results, when we're so focused on the process, we might give up before we ever get there. So imagine, the Burj Khalifa took 6 years to build. And when in that 6-year time frame, when they did the opening at that 6-year mark, the interior wasn't even completed yet. So that was just that was the foundation without all the prettiness done to make it where people would actually enjoy being inside of it and stuff. So imagine that there were probably some people on that project that throughout that time quit that job, building that project, because they were just like, okay, let's move on to the next thing. Because a lot of people don't have that attention span. Now, the sweet spot is when you're purpose driven, right? That can lead to long-term sustainable success. Thank you, Jay. So when we're looking at being purpose driven, if we look at the definition of purpose, there's 2 forms of it. So when we look at the definition of purpose as a noun, it's the reason for which something exists or was created or is being done. So, we might think that, this couch, the purpose of this couch is for me to sit on it so I don't have to sit on the floor. I can be more comfortable, right? When we look at purpose-driven, purpose is also, in the verb form, it's the act of doing something intentionally with an objective in mind. So, the sweet spot is having something where hi Nalia, hi Tasha, I almost called you. Hi Tasha, hi Alonzo. So when you're purpose driven, you're in that sweet spot because you feel like you're in your purpose. So I want you to think about, and if you want to close your eyes for this one too, feel free. But I want you to think about the thing that lights you up the most. The thing that when you do it, you are the most lit, if you will. What lights you up? If you could spend the rest of your life doing this thing, what would it be? You don't have to type it in because some of those answers I might not want to know. But what would you do if you could just do that for the rest of your life? What lights you up? That's, sometimes people refer to that as passion. I was reading a book where it talked about why it's not preferred to use the word passion because the old school definition, not what they have in the dictionary now, but originally in the dictionary, what passion meant was more along the lines, if you've ever seen the movie The Passion of the Christ, it's really about kind of that suffering and that type of stuff. But living in your purpose, being in your purpose. And so I know when I look at some things, I know that I was meant to be a mom. I can tell you that, well, especially when Jordan was younger, it's a little bit different now that she's older and a teenager and all that. But I know I used to be able to tell people, look, if there is one thing that I do great, it's being a mom, right? Then, that's one thing that I absolutely, that is part of my purpose. I also feel like part of my purpose is public speaking. I know that's really odd. Raise your hand or type in there if that's they say that's most people's second highest fear next to death. So for people who hate it, I'm the weirdo. I know it. But so when I'm doing those things, when I'm being a mom, whether I'm just having conversation with Jordan, last week we talked about, being our kids' educators as much as the teachers are and spending more time in meaningful conversation with them and teaching them and stuff like that. When I'm in any part of being a mom, whether we're out having fun, hanging out at the selfie museum, taking selfies, which seems silly, but you know what? There's a lesson in that too. And it's that don't wear beige shorts. It's not real flattering. No. So I keep saying, again, no. See, we're working on it. So when I'm being a mom, I'm being a basketball mom. Oh man, that is really, I love being a basketball mom. Anybody who goes to basketball games with me, you know I love that. When I'm teaching any kind of a class, when I'm doing public speaking, when I'm doing these live videos, I feel alive. So I know that that is part of my purpose. We can look at whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in. We are all given different gifts. Not everybody's meant to do the same thing. So when you are living in your purpose, when you are fulfilling what that gift was that you are given, you are going to have more opportunity to come to that, that long-term sustainable success, whatever that might look like. Now, I also gave you the verb form of purpose. And so when I talk about this is being on purpose with what you do. A lot of times when we're younger, we're like, oh, I'm sorry, that was an accident, or I didn't do that on purpose. Pay attention. Hi, Tony. Pay attention to what you do on purpose. And you know what? You have control over everything that you do. So start choosing what you do on purpose. Start choosing to have a good day on purpose. Start choosing to take new actions on purpose towards whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? So, we want to be on purpose. And like I said, I think that, you could be any one of these things. You could be results driven. You could be process driven. But when you have that purpose driven, the process and the results come with that usually. I can have results without process. I can have process without results. But I can't have purpose. I can't be living in my purpose and never get to the process, or truly in my purpose, I should say, and never get to the process or the results. All right, so one of my mentors, his name is Mark Aceta, and he says, work on your skills and you'll make a living. Work on yourself and you'll make a fortune. And so that's one of those things that I think is very important when you're living on purpose, is continually working to improve on yourself, right? Preach, preach, preacher. Thank you, Tony. Oh my gosh, I miss you. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. I haven't heard from you, punk. So here's the thing is that, when we are working on ourselves, when we are working on being a better parent, when we're working on being a better communicator, when we're constantly learning, how can I do things different to improve on myself, to improve on my circumstances, whatever the case may be. Guess what? We've talked about this several times, because the TV, the telephone, those things are just distractions to what you really want to do with yourself. Turn it off. Take a step away from it. Start living in your purpose. And eventually, when you keep building on that purpose, I promise you will find success. All right, so that's it for the day. Look, that was short compared to last week. Oh man. Hi, Deacon Greg. Hi, Jay. Different Jay. All right, so question. If you guys have a specific topic, yeah, I am just cheesy. If you guys have a specific topic that you'd like me to discuss at some point, feel free to type it in. I usually am a couple weeks ahead as to what I have planned to talk about, but keep in mind, I'm always open to talk. Well, okay, there are some things I will not talk about. I will not talk about politics. I will not talk about religion, and I will not talk about as much as I could. I will not talk about race issues in this country right now. But outside of that, if there's something you want me to talk about, feel free to type that in. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys value. That's my whole purpose of doing these videos, is to try to bring value. I know that, again, sometimes we get so locked up in watching TV or scrolling through our phones that it can, sometimes it's good to take a step away, hear a little bit of word from somebody that might make sense to us. Hi, A.A. Ron. That's my cousin, A.A. Ron. You know what, Tony? Okay. My old friend Tony from high school is being a smartass. So he said, have I seen the sun lately? I have. Look, when I put on these bright lights, it's hot in here. Number one, I'm hot right now. When I put on these bright lights, I get a bit pale. Plus, I'm white, Tony, in case you didn't know that. Hi, Sue. I hope your week at work is better. I tried waving at you outside at lunch last week. And Tony, by the way, I've had skin cancer before, so I can't be out in the sun all that much. Unless I'm at the beach, that's the exception. Let's just go there. How's everybody's kiddos doing with going back to school? Do a healthy dish. Oh, I'm not cooking for this. I can talk about food that I like to cook, though. I'll turn into a food tutorial. I don't have that much content about food other than I like to eat it. Are Anthony or Tony, are your kids back in school? And you're saying it sucks? Hi, Ralph. Oh, man. Like I said, Jordan's pretty excited because it looks like hopefully in 2 weeks they'll be going, 2 weeks they'll be going to do the hybrid. So that she's excited about because, you know, senior year, she wants to hang out with her friends. Of course, she's at the softball game right now. So, whatever. Softball, I guess, is okay for them to be playing right now, but they pushed the football season all the way back to March. So I don't know how that all works out. I don't know how they determine softball's okay but not football. Maybe there's less contact in softball. Maybe that was their thought. Tony, does it suck because they're at home and you want to knock them upside the head, or? Thaddeus, 2 college graduates and 2 in college. Woo! And look, Thaddeus is where we're all trying to get. Empty nester, life is good. He's loving that, right? Next year, Jordan goes off to college. Oh, man. Every day in the mail, at least 3 different things from different colleges. I'm like, oh, man. Oh, yeah, they're tired of e-learning. I get that. I will tell you, so I told you guys last week, Jordan has a personal finance class. And so this week she was on personal finance class, and they had just logged in. It was the first official class. And she's telling me how last week when she went for the little orientation to meet her teacher, that her teacher told her he was going to teach them how to do their taxes. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Up until last year, I did my taxes my whole life. And so I'm listening to her personal finance class, and I was so impressed. I was like, oh, man, this is amazing. I said, hey, is he recording this? Like, I want to watch this later. And she looked at me and she goes, do you wish you had a personal finance class, Mommy? And I was like, yeah, I do. They didn't teach us that when we were in school. And I can't believe, for the life of me, I cannot believe personal finance is not a requirement. It's an elective. That makes no sense to me. No wonder we have people living in debt up to their eyeballs and don't even have, $2,000 saved in the bank and stuff like that. Like, that's crazy. No wonder. All right. Well, thank you guys for jumping on. I guess I'll go ahead and jump off now. It was good to see all of your names and kind of faces on here. And have a great rest of the week. I'm always here, Message me, call me, whatever. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Woke Wednesday.